This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 8th day of June in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley, thanking you for joining us, and here's what we're tracking tonight. As the floods continue in several communities across the country, and some areas are seeing a worsening of the floods, the Ministry of Health is now monitoring those areas for waterborne diseases after receiving several complaints. Regional health officers and their teams have been dispatched to the regions to assess and monitor the situation. That's according to the Health Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony.
In Region 1, they have been constantly monitoring. From the reports that I've had this morning, they haven't had any outbreaks of anything. Same goes for Region 7, 8, and 9. There are a few isolated cases of skin rashes and so that people have been reporting, but those have been dealt with.
In some communities where the floodwaters have not been receding satisfactorily, health teams will be dispatched to conduct a second round of evaluation of the situation.
In Region 7, we have teams that have gone into the upper and middle Maz, and they're monitoring for both waterborne diseases caused by flooding, and they're also going to be doing vaccination in those communities that they visit.
The health minister also explained that in Region 8, the medical team is assisting the Civil Defense Commission to relocate some of the affected residents.
We also have teams that are out in Region 8, and the team in 8 would have assisted with the CDC to move some of the residents in the area of Chumatumari to the primary school there. They have set up a shelter. I think there are about 5 families that have been affected. And those families right now are with other relatives, so they're not staying at the school, but we have the school prepared just in case if anybody wants to come there.
In Region 5, the situation is also being closely monitored. President Irfan Ali visited the communities in Region 5 today that are affected by the floods. And the Ministry of Health is also on the lookout for diarrheal diseases in the flood-affected communities, and citizens in flooded communities are being encouraged to stay out of the floodwaters and wear protective gear if they must venture out. More news coming up in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Deanjali Singh, and I'm here to introduce to you a new GTT service. You have repeatedly told us that you need a faster and easier way to receive your bills, especially since almost everything has gone digital. Say goodbye to the days of paper bills. Now with GTT, receiving your bill is easy no matter what network you're on. You can get your GTT DSL, landline, Blaze, or postpaid mobile bill sent to you via WhatsApp as soon as ready. To get started, simply update your mobile contact number by visiting gtt.gy/update5 to ensure we have your correct WhatsApp number, and we'll send you a WhatsApp message with your monthly bill as soon as available. When you receive this message, you will notice it's identified as the official business account for GTT. To make things easy, add us as a contact, and each month thereafter, we will send you your bill directly via WhatsApp from our official WhatsApp business account. No more waiting, no more calls. Now you can receive your bills directly through WhatsApp. We thank you for choosing GTT as your service provider and remind you to stay safe during these unprecedented times.
Wait, today what day, man? You know what? Maybe it's up to go and get a vaccine sometime soon. Let me check this book. The book there, man. Oh, shucks, me almost forget the second dose. Me gonna forgot take me second dose of the vaccine. Me gonna forgot now. So doctor, the first vaccine me take in a bit hot, right? But me hear say that them say the second one does hot. You go hot?
No, the second vaccine shouldn't hurt either.
Okay, good.
It is very important that all of us take our second dose. Why? Because with the first dose, usually the people who get protection, only 68% of them. If we all take the second dose, that number rises to about 95%. So it is very, very important that once you've taken the first dose, it's good to take the first dose, but then you must go on to take the second dose. Let us protect ourselves and protect the people around us, our loved ones, friends, and family. I'm Dr. William Ndukro, the past PAHO WHO representative and presently the project director for the Mental Health Suicide Study.
GWI introduces CAP, their customer assistance promotion that offers massive discounts. For a limited time, get 50% off all reconnection fees and another 50% off your entire bill. If your service was removed or you've reconnected on your own, GWI is offering yet another 50% discount off all tampering and replacement fees. Wallet-friendly payment plans are also available. So tap into GWI's customer assistance promotion by visiting any GWI office and avoid them taking legal action. CAP only applies to customers whose services were disconnected or removed prior to 2021. For more information, call 227-8701 or WhatsApp 620-1667. Water is life. Save it.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Welcome back. The Guyana Prison Service has confirmed that 2 prisoners have escaped from the Luziknan jail. Efforts are currently on the way to locate them. The 2 escapees have been identified as 24-year-old murder convict Shazam Khalil and 26-year-old remand prisoner Andrew Chang, who was recently charged for break and enter and larceny. In a statement, the prison service revealed that the 2 inmates were discovered missing from the quarantine section of the prison during the morning tally of prisoners. Details were not provided on the method of escape or the actual time of the escape. Once the men were discovered missing, an alarm was raised and the emergency action plan was immediately activated, according to the prison service. A joint service patrol was established and dispatched to search for the escapees. The prison service is warning persons that aiding and abetting the escapees is a criminal offense. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of the 2 escapees should contact the nearest police station or call 911. Let's tell you now that attorney at law Selwyn Peters, who's representing the interests of the chairman and commissioners of the Police Service Commission, has informed the Prime Minister that his request for the chairman of the PSC, Paul Slow, to show cause why a process should not be initiated for his removal is vague. Article 225(2) of the Constitution says the chairman and or commissioners could be removed if they have engaged in misbehavior or become unable to discharge the functions of their offices. According to the attorney, none of those 2 grounds set out in the Constitution were violated by Mr. Slow and other commissioners. Therefore, the request by the Prime Minister is curious. In the second show cause letter sent to Mr. Slow, the Prime Minister said he has taken note of a move by Mr. Slow to join an opposition member of Parliament in a separate court matter. That matter is an application filed by opposition member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal and a number of other persons against the Attorney General and the Minister of Finance. The action seeks to have the Judicial Service Commission and the other constitutional agencies to be allowed to function independently and impartially and free of the exercise of any control by the executive.
The grounds provided for the proposed removal of the chairman and commissioners of the Police Service Commission are decidedly vague, with no specific violations or concrete obligations alleged, and no explanation as to why the Commission's participation in the Mahipal action should be tantamount to bias or interference, or run contrary to the Commission's independence, impartiality, and autonomy. Nor is there any support offered for the empty assertion that, quote, the public's perception is the Commission and its members have abandoned all appearance of impartiality and have joined forces with the opposition politicians to engage in open partisan political context with the government.
Attorney Peters explained that the Mahipal action is directly tied to the administration of justice and the proper fiscal management of independent constitutional commissions. He said the Commission's involvement does not violate the principles of separation of powers or put a risk to the independence and impartiality of the chairman and commissioners. The Commission, he said, is entitled to challenge the government in court. He said the Commission felt the need to join the case because it felt its independence was being threatened, alluding to a situation where the Commission approached the Finance Ministry for funds to defend itself in a court battle with Senior Superintendent Fazil Karambaksh, but was denied the funding.
It must be clear that the Commission's involvement in the Mahipal action was the consequence of the Commission's need for and the government's failure to provide financial means for the Commission to defend itself in court against the application of Senior Superintendent Fazil Karambaksh, which in turn emerged out of disciplinary proceedings initiated against the said superintendent following allegations of sexual harassment. The Attorney General firstly took carriage of the matter improperly and then withdrew from the matter as a result of a CCJ ruling. However, the government refused to provide funding for the Police Service Commission to defend against the action by Senior Superintendent Karambaksh.
The attorney also said Mr. Slow's previous submissions in response to the May 19, 2021 show cause notice laid out in detail the history of inappropriate, unconstitutional political interference by the president and his government with the workings of the commission, including President Irfan Ali repeatedly contacting the commission's chair to request promotion of certain individuals in the police force, including Senior Superintendent Karen Bash, and sending intermediaries to pressure Mr. Slow to cooperate. That's according to the attorney. The Guyana Public Service Union today chided the government for what the union considers the willy-nilly dismissal of public servants. Since the government took office back in August last year, hundreds of public servants have been sent home, some with little to no reason for their terminations. Last week, more than 70 were sent packing from the Guyana Water Incorporated, and another 100 will be sent home in the coming weeks. The Guyana Public Service Union celebrated its 98th anniversary today, and in an anniversary message, the union said it is currently witnessing a sad state of affairs of the public service in Guyana. GPSU Vice President Dawn Gardner.
Members reported that they feel intimidated. Terminations of workers' employment are being done willy-nilly. Workers are being placed on the breadline and left vulnerable, while other sectors are favored with billion-dollar awards. This conflicts with political commitments and rhetoric publicly stated by the current government during its campaign and after being sworn into office.
According to the GPSU official, there are legally binding agreements between the government and the Public Service Union, adding that the union has requested several meetings with the government to address the issues facing workers, but it is still to receive any response. The union is of the view that the challenges that it has continuously faced over the years to address workers' issues are now escalating. The union rep claimed that there are ongoing political attempts to undermine the union's credibility and disrupt relationships within the union.
The membership has proven over time that they are not puppets through a display of high intellect and professionalism. These qualities are most appreciative and have proven to be the strength of our beloved union. It is noteworthy to highlight these strengths and in summary: professionalism, but not puppets; patriots, not politicians; and last but not least, principle, not preverse. The GPSU is committed to the protection of all members and confronting any and all attempt at depreciating their image, including a veiled attempt to put them at risk.
The GPSU has also warned of the lapses by the administration in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change issues. As the COVID-19 vaccination campaign intensifies, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today announced that the government has been in contact with various suppliers to make more vaccines available locally. During his COVID-19 update, the health minister said so far 212,541 persons have received their first shot of one of the vaccines, while 77,980 persons have received both doses, making those persons fully immunized.
I know that earlier we had put on the card for people to come back after 12 weeks, but the guidance is anytime between 4 weeks to 12 weeks that you can come for that second dose once you have received an AstraZeneca vaccine as the first dose. Similarly, we still have a few persons who would have received the Sinopharm vaccine, but they haven't come forward to get their second dose Sinopharm vaccine. They got their first dose, but they haven't come back for their second dose. So we want to appeal to those persons to come and to get that second dose.
The health minister said the 100,000 first shot doses of the Sputnik vaccine, which arrived yesterday in the country, is being rolled out this week, and he's hopeful that the second shot doses will be here by the weekend.
In terms of the Sputnik V second dose, we continue to work with the supplier to see how fast we can get those second dose in. We have already paid for these second doses. It's just a matter of getting the supply into Guyana.
And Dr. Anthony also said the government has also purchased 100,000 doses of the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine. He said he is still concerned that the vaccination rollout in Region 10 has not picked up pace. Only 12.5% of that region's population has been vaccinated so far, making it the lowest vaccination rate in the country. Meanwhile, this evening, the Ministry of Health reported the deaths of 5 more persons from COVID-19. In an effort to have the voices of young people heard on a variety of topics of national importance, the Parliament of Guyana, along with the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, will be collaborating to host the Speaker's National Debating Competition. The competition will bring together 16 youth groups from across the country, and the debates will be done virtually and in some cases in person. The debating competition will be different from the ones usually hosted for the National Youth Parliament. During the launch this morning, Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, said the decision to host the Speaker's debating competition was based on the need to get youths more involved in national discussions and to also accommodate a wider cross-section of the youth population.
What was constricting was the Youth Parliament, which only saw us pulling young people from the University of Guyana. And my contention was that young people moving on to the University of Guyana only constitute a very small percentage of the young people who are in our wider population. For example, we know this year some 13 to 14,000 teenagers will write CXC. But maybe only 10% of them may move on to tertiary education. The others choose different avenues. And so the thinking behind this national youth debating competition was to reach out to youth clubs, youth organizations, and we have kept them to, again, the 11 electoral districts of our country.
Youth clubs and youth groups are being targeted for participation.
One of the reasons why we are choosing to go the route of youth clubs is because among our people we have to learn the value of teamwork. None of us by ourselves can develop ourselves and achieve what we want for our families and ourselves. It's going to have to be networking, being part of a team, and being responsible citizens.
This year's competition will see 16 youth groups and clubs participating in 4 rounds from the 15th of June until the 9th of July. The debates will be streamed live on YouTube and Facebook and also broadcast on the National Communications Network. Now let's tell you that a 22-year-old data entry clerk at the Lusignan prison is in custody tonight after he was busted with an Ensure supplement drink bottle packed with marijuana when he arrived for work at the prison. The marijuana was unearthed after the young man was subjected to a mandatory search before heading into his job. He's to be charged soon for his attempt to smuggle marijuana into the prison.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95, tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95, tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive. You see them children playing in the dirty water again?
You know me talk to them this morning, like them don't understand.
Every time it flood, they just want to go in the flood waters. They think this thing is fun. You could get serious diseases in the water. And if an electrical line fall in the water, you could get electrocuted. Little boy, your mother tell you not to play in that water. Come here this minute.
You see the water don't start coming in the house? When you're living in a downstairs, you just got to take precautions.
That is right. You got to make sure there's a pair of long boots for every member of the family. Protect drinking water from contamination. Keep a stock of foods that can't spoil. And have some place to go if your place flood out.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Listen to me, Guyana. This is DJ Garwin. I've just been vaccinated and I'm urging you to go get vaccinated also. Remember, the longer you take the vaccine, is the more we're going to be locked down. So my people, go out there, get your vaccine, be on the safe side. Remember, vaccine works.
Across the region tonight, gangs raided multiple police stations for weapons in Haiti's capital over the weekend as violence between armed groups flared, with intense conflict in one southern neighborhood forcing thousands to flee. The gangs have proliferated in the poorest country in the Americas over the past few years during a period of political unrest and growing economic misery. Armed groups increasingly outgun Haiti's security forces and fight with one another over territory. The United Nations on Sunday said it was profoundly worried about the impact of the growing violence in Haiti on civilians, recalling similar incidents over the past year that forced thousands to flee. Haiti is also facing a surge in COVID-19 cases and is bracing for a referendum at the end of June over a new constitution. The BBC reports this evening that a right-wing candidate in Peru's presidential election, Keiko Fujimori, alleges that there have been signs of fraud in Sunday's runoff election. She made the allegation after her left-wing rival Pedro Castillo pulled past her in the vote recount. With 97.3% of the votes counted, Mr. Castillo had a razor-thin lead of less than 0.5 percentage points. In a news conference, Ms. Fujimori alleged that there had been a strategy by Peru Libre, the party of Mr. Castillo, to distort and delay the results which reflect the popular will. The incumbent party rejected the accusation, tweeting that it had never resorted to electoral fraud. To the contrary, they said they have been the victims of electoral fraud. After accusing her rival's party of fraud, Ms. Fujimori struck a more optimistic note, saying that the tables could still turn once the votes from Peruvians abroad were counted. And finally tonight, international news. French President Emmanuel Macron was slapped in the face on an official visit to the southeast of France. In the video circulating on social media, Mr. Macron is seen walking up to a barrier on a trip outside the city of Valence. A man in a green t-shirt slapped him in the face before officers quickly moved in. The president, meanwhile, was pulled away. 2 men have since been arrested following the incident. After the incident, the French president returned to the barrier and once again interacted with the crowd. The motive of the attack was unclear. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and wishing you a pleasant rest of the day. Stay safe.